Okay, so let's get started. Yeah, so sorry, let me quickly receive the person that just joined. Okay, cool. So yesterday we were looking at string operations and we said that a string, please make sure you're mute everybody. Yeah. So we say that a string is a collection of characters. So this is a collection of characters. Lola Augustine Emeka. This is a collection of characters. The characters are LOLA hyphen AU. This is a collection. So any collection of character that is enclosed in double quotes is known as a string. Please, Chinedu, can you put yourself on mute? So these are strings. Then these strings, there are specific operations that are performed on this string in order to manipulate them using code. And then we started looking at these operations, these methods. But the first thing we looked at was whenever we say the string dot name, the string dot length, it simply gives us the number of characters that are involved. And that's why when we looked at this, so I can simply run this code again now so that we can see this. So I'll simply cd into the application that we are running now is string and math operations. So I'll cd into string and math operations. So cd simply means change directory. That means go into the folder called string and math operations, which is this folder. Now I'm going to say .NET run in order to run this application. Good. So once I run now, you see that the first line there is the name.length, which is the length of this very name. So let's count it to find the length. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So in counting the characters, you must count the hyphen or the space. Even if there is a space there, you must count it in. And that's why we have 20 here. Now, the next one we looked at is dot to upper. So once you write a string, you put the name of the string or the variable name, you do dot to upper, then you put these brackets. So this is the method known as to upper, which converts everything to capital letter. And that's why we have everything in capital letter. Then we looked at name dot to lower, which is converting everything to lower letter or to small letters. Remember that this console.line simply means you want to be able to see what you've done. That's why we put that console.line. Then we looked at contains. Contains simply means you're asking whether this very string is contained in the variable name that you've declared with this value. So you're asking whether Tolu is in this Lola Augustine Emeka. You can see that Tolu is not there. So that's why the answer is false. Now we created a new string, but the value is we are using the former string, which is this name, which has this value. And we're simply replacing anywhere we have Augustine, we are replacing it with Tolu. So we have Lola Tolu Emeka instead of Lola Augustine Emeka. And that's why we have Lola Tolu Emeka here. Then this other one is to split. Split simply means you're converting a string into an array, but you're splitting at some point. You are splitting at a very character. like we want to split anywhere we have hyphen. So once you split this anywhere we have hyphen, we are going to have these three elements of the array: Lola, Augustine, and Emeka. And once we say the splitted part, the first element, that's what we mean by part at 0. The first element should be Lola, and that's why we have Lola here. Now you can also split into characters, into the characters, which is what we did here. So name dot to char array, character array, to char array. This is what it means to split it into a character array. This first one, the split, simply means you're splitting it into strings. But once you're splitting it into character array, you must make sure that the data type here is character array. This square bracket simply means array. This is string array. You're splitting into strings, but now you're splitting into characters. So you use the method to character array. And once you do that, it will split it into bits, into the various characters. So you have L, O, L, A, everything split out. And that's why we have the first element of the character array as L. And the last thing we checked out was the string interpolation, which is a way of writing the string. Instead of using plus sign, which is a concatenation character, we simply use this dollar sign, then enclose everything inside a quote, inside double quotes. Then we introduce the variables by inserting them into curly brackets. So what it does is that as it's reading this, it's fetching the real value of this. So the name now becomes Lola Augustine Emeka, whereas the age here becomes 25, which is what we already declared here. So that was what we looked at yesterday. So those are string operations, operations that could be done on a string. And we gave us this assignment. So today we're going to be looking at math operations. Math operations, that's what we're going to be looking at today. But we are also going to be solving some problems in the string operations. So today we're going to be looking at math operations, which, like string operations, are also operations that could be done using the mathematical operators. So first of all, we're going to be looking at the basic math. So basic math operations simply means things like addition, subtraction, division, and the rest. So I'm going to declare some variable. I'm going to say int a, which simply means integer a is equal to 10. So I'm assigning the value of 10 to variable a. And I'm going to be also declaring another variable known as int b. And I'm going to be assigning it the value of 3. So I'm doing this declaration because I want to be able to use them to perform simple math operations. So I'm simply going to say now console.write line a plus b, so that I will see what it will give me. So I will say console.write line, then in brackets I'm going to say a plus b. So this is simple addition. So if I save this now and I come down here and do .NET.run, so I will see that normal math operation in C# is the same as what you have in your normal mathematics. So it's gonna do it's gonna take the value of A here, which is 10, and add it to the value of B here, which is 3, and that will be 13. And that's why we have 13 here. Okay. So I'm going to comment out all that we've done here so far so that it will not be confusing us. So I've commented them out. Now, if I save this again and run this, I will only see 13 so that we can concentrate on the math operations, which is what we are looking at today. Okay, so you can see 13 here. This 13 simply means A plus B. Now, from this, you can easily know what console dot write line of A minus B would be. So if I save this and run, you should know that it should be A minus B, which is 10 minus 3, which is 7. So I'm going to save this and come down here and run this. So I'm going to have 13 and 7. So 13 is for the addition, 7 is for the subtraction. So you can see it here, 13 and 7. Now, I'm also going to have console.writeLine A times B. So I'm going to say console dot writeLine, and in brackets, I'm going to say A times. So this is how we put times. The multiplication sign is the 8th number on your keyboard, but you have to hold down the shift. Okay, so that's what we'll have. So I'm going to save this, and I'm going to come down here and run this. So 10 times 3 is going to give us 30. Okay, it's giving me an error because here I did not put dots here. Console.writeLine. So I'm going to save this back, and I'm going to run it again. Okay, so it's going to give me, it should give me 30. So you can see 30, that's the value. So I'm also going to look at division by saying console dot. You can always copy this and just change what you want to change, but I'm typing it out because I want you to be able to grow your muscle, your typing muscle, because that's going to be very, very important for you going forward as a developer. So A all over B, that is how you write that. Control S to save, and I'm going to run this, and I should have 10 over 3, which is 3. It's supposed to be 3.3, but what we are doing is what we call integer division, because here this is an integer, so it's going to count, it's going to truncate at the integer and leave out the other things. But if I add double here, we are going to have okay, let's say now we have, instead of int, we have double A and double B. So if I save this now and come and run, so I'll have a different answer to that. You can see I'm having 3.333 because I'm doing the real division using double. That means the decimal places are taken care of. Okay, so these are some of the basics. So I can also have these console.writeLine A divided by B. So this is what we call the modulus operator. That means the remainder when you divide A by B. So what is remaining? So 1 is remaining, because when you divide 10 by 3, you're going to get 3 remainder 1. So modulus simply means the remainder. That's what you want to be echoed out. Okay, so those are the basic math operations, and we're going to also quickly look at the math class. So whenever you hear the math class, simply means these are classes that are mathematical classes that have been created for you in C# that you can use to do some manipulations on numbers. so that you don't have to write out the class by yourself. You don't have to write out the methods by yourself. So I'm going to do this one. I'm going to say console dot write line. Then in brackets, I'm going to simply say math.max. Math.max. So you just pay attention to the way it is written. The M is in capital letter for the math, and the M for the max is also in capital letter. So it simply means that the class name, the class is in capital letter, and the method is also in capital letter. So I'm comparing two numbers, 10 and 20. So I'm simply saying, give me the maximum between 10 and 20 using the math.max method. Okay. So what is the bigger number? What is the maximum number? What is the bigger number between uh, 10 and 20? So that is what this is going to find me. So it makes, give me the maximum number. What is the bigger number? You can see that it is 20 here. So in order to make this to be also cleaned up, I'm gonna comment this out. So the way I do this comment out is I just select the whole of it, then I hold down the control and press the forward slash. So once you do that, you're going to be able to comment out everything that you've selected so that they will not come out in your console. Because every compiler, what it does is that it compiles this code line by line. So once it does not see this double forward slash, which is comment, it will compile that line. But once you put a comment, it means you're telling the compiler, don't compile this line. This is just a comment. Do for only the ones that don't have the comment uh, description in front of them. Okay, so you can see here I have only 20 because this is the only line that is being compiled. This is what the program is saying. Every other thing here is a comment. Okay, so let's continue. So that is the maximum number. If you want to find the maximum number of two numbers, you use math.max. Now, you can also say console.write line. Now, we want to find the minimum between two numbers. So I'm going to say math.main. So I'll say math.main. So if you've written other languages, you're going to find out that this math.main, that the first M might be in small letter for languages like JavaScript and the rest. So that's just the difference in syntax, but the overall basic background, it's almost similar. So I'm going to save this, then I come here and run. So I'm asking now between these two numbers, what's the minimum number, what's the smaller number? So you can see that it is number 10. Okay, now I can also do another use another math class for another operation. So I can say console dot write line, then in brackets I can use the square root class and say math dot square root. So I can say math dot sqrt. So I'm simply asking for the square root of a number. So if I put any number there, it will give me the square root of the number. So if I put 16, it's going to be 4. If I put 25, then it's going to be 5. So I come down here and I do .NET.run to see that. So you can see it's number 5 because this is 5 because the square root of 25 is 5. Now I'm going to look at another math class method, and I'm going to say console dot right line, then in brackets, I'm going to say math.pow. Math.pow. So pow means power. And I'm trying to say something raised to the power of another thing. And I'm going to say 2 raised to the power of 3. If I save this and I come here and run, you know that 2 to the power 3 is 8. So if I come here and run it, so I should be able to see 8 in my console. You can see that 8 here. So you see, these are basic mathematical operations, the basic things that we do in maths in school. We are using program, we are using C# to do the same thing. Okay, so now I'm gonna also say console dot right line, then in brackets, close it with semicolon, go back into the bracket and say math dot round. So I'm gonna say math dot round. So math dot round simply means that I want to round up a number. So I'm gonna say 4.6. So round this number 4.6 for me. So just the way you round numbers in math, you can also round number in C#. So if I round this number of 4.6 is closer to 5. So that is round number. Very, very important. So I'm going to also look at another concept, which is the concept of random numbers. The concept of random numbers in C#, similar to the concepts of random number in other languages. So for you to create a random number in C#, you have to use the new keyword to instantiate an object of the class random. So once you do that, that object, you can always say that object dot next. Then you put the range of the random numbers that you want. Okay. So I can say to instantiate an object of a class random, which is already a built-in function. So I can say rand number, okay. Then I can now say new. You always use the new keyword for this. New random, then I put this. So I've created. So what I've done now is that I've created an instance or a class of random number. So I can now use this random number to create some random numbers. And in order to do that, I'll simply say okay, so this is a random number from 1 to 100. So if I run this and come down here, I'm going to assume a number from 1 to 100 and it's picking 66 for me. So you can use random numbers when you want to pick out something in probability, which we are going to be seeing in future, how to use random numbers. So you want the computer to just pick up a number from this given range. So I can say 1 and 7. So if I say 1 and 7 now and run this again, it's going to pick a number between 1 and 7. One random number between 1 and 7. And you're going to find out that we'll be needing such things when we are playing a game. When we're designing a game, we want to pick a random number. You see, The random number that I picked now is 3. So I can always come here and make all these comments. And once I make them comments, I'll be able to specifically see what I want, which is just the random number. So you find out that when you're playing a fair die, when you're playing games, so you pick a random number from 1 to 2, either, or you're throwing a coin. So it could be any of either the faces of the coin. So you can pick between 1 and 2. This is between 1 and 7, and we're having 5. Okay, so that is for random numbers. Now for these, we can have some assignments or some practices, like creating a simple calculator. So we can practice. So we can do something like creating a simple calculator, which we've already done before. So that we can use the knowledge of these math operations. We can generate random OTP. Okay, you can see where we're already using one application of random number that we just learned. So we can generate random OTP. So all these OTP that gets sent to you when you're trying to interact with your banking app, so they generate them using this random number generator, or even more exquisite classes that they build in C# that utilizes this random number generator or this random class. Okay, so we can also calculate the area of a cycle using the knowledge that we've gained so far. So we can calculate the area of a cycle. Okay, so very similar to the math operations that we've had, like this multiplication, minus, and division. We can use them to also apply in calculating the area of a circle and area of other geometry. Okay, so those are very, very important things that we are supposed to know in math class. There are other math operations that we'll look at in subsequent classes, but the next thing we'll be looking at will be array operations, so that we understand what arrays are and how arrays are used. Okay, are these clear, or do we have any questions on this?
So, please, for the assignment of yesterday, I did it, but I had problems seeding into the file. I don't know, it wasn't responding, and
Sorry, you
it's
had
still
problems in
no
what?
like I was trying to CD into the file,
And it was not
like the
responding. Perfect.
folder.
So let's do
Yes.
that now. If you can share your screen, then I can help you figure that out. Okay.
Okay.
So let me stop sharing so that we can look at that. So that once you finish, we can look at arrays. Okay. So I'm gonna stop sharing. So I'm gonna allow you to share your screen. Okay.
This